Listen to the wind in the junipers and the tales of the shifting, whispering sands.
Hello again, I'm Mike Pickett. Just so you know, I don't do politics on this show. I'll vote at the polls like any other citizen, but you won't find me arguing or contending for one side or the other with anyone about anything. I'm all about positive thinking and a brighter future to come after the control freaks get out of the way. I believe they'll get out of the way. Their house of cards built on lies and deception will crumble. The question is, when? Nobody can predict that, but I can see it coming, and probably very soon. I want my listeners to be as prepared as possible for any and every crisis that may blindside them in the future. My objective is to provide insight into conditions and trends that will reduce the impact of surprises that are sure to come. The despots are not ready to give up yet. I'm sure they have a few more tricks up their sleeve to keep their power over human thinking, behavior, and activities for as long as they can. I don't believe they can keep a well-informed citizenry in the dark for much longer. There are more than 180 countries around the world, each with governments of their own, but the needs and desires of the people are synonymous wherever they are, regardless of nationality, color, or creed. We all have a lot in common. I was sitting as an invited guest in the office of a Muslim entrepreneur in Dubai a few years ago when he suddenly excused himself, saying, "I'm going to pray, I'll be back." He left me in his office alone to ponder and scan his library for a few minutes. When he returned and sat back in his chair, I said to him, "So you went to pray?" He said, "Yes, I pray 5 times a day." I said, "I admire that." He beamed a bit. Then he set about explaining to me about his religion. He said his children were memorizing the Quran and that his family were very devoted to their God, Allah, and to the Prophet Muhammad. He knew I was a Christian, and he heard some of my responses, but I listened without argument or response to anything he said. When he finished, I said, "Well, we have more in common than we have differences." He had no argument with that, and we continued our conversation about our business. The difference between a winner and a loser is that a winner sees the good in everybody because most of the time there is at least some, and in most cases a lot, while a loser sees only the bad in a good person and finds it hard to work with anybody. Religious or philosophical differences hold a back seat to the basic needs and similarities of people around the world. That's why I like Bitcoin. Bitcoin has the most obvious characteristics of peace, harmony, and cooperation of any system that has ever been devised throughout the history of the world. And the relationships between humankind are so much better with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is on the winning side. I've talked about the characteristics of Bitcoin in previous podcasts, so I won't address the details today. I think the most important values of Bitcoin are in its structure and function. These characteristics are in its basic mechanism of peaceful, honest, and truthful intercourse between citizens around the world without the interference of oligarchs, banks, and governments, no matter the degree of their determination to rule or control their citizenry. Bitcoin is not about getting rich, as traders see it. It's about freedom. It may make you rich if you get started earlier than most, but the true value of Bitcoin is freedom, especially for those who hold on to it. The wonderful thing about it is that it offers freedom to people around the world regardless of nationality or the degree of their government's control. It removes the need for the money changers because it doesn't care about fiat currency, tariffs, or property values in fiat currency. It allows for peer-to-peer trading of goods around the world between parties who can agree on a price in Satoshis or Bitcoin without permission from governments or money changers. Governments and money changers are scared now. Their demise could be in the offing. Bitcoin is a genuine threat to the old, antiquated fiat trading tools that have been used around the world for thousands of years. The money changers have no vision, only a determination to maintain power and control. Even the standard of a gold-backed currency is no longer of any use. The introduction of digital technologies and the internet displaces metals as a viable trade mechanism. The new way does not depend on people to record and verify transactions anymore. It's done automatically by thousands of computers, operating together to verify and record transactions on a permanent storage ledger in cyberspace. The permanent ledger cannot be changed or tampered with. Gold and silver will never again be used as money. It's too heavy and hard to move from one place to another, while Bitcoin can be transferred in minutes to any place in the world with a few strokes on your cell phone or a computer keyboard. You don't have to carry Bitcoin around in your pocket, only in your head. The transactions are verified and unchangeable, and they cannot be tampered with by anyone. Even if the internet goes down in places, the record remains the same and is still there when service is restored or replaced, and it will be. I'm Mike Pickett. Think about this stuff and mull it around in your own head until the lights of your understanding manifest themselves with greater clarity. I'll see you again tomorrow. In the meantime, stay as righteous as you can and sleep peacefully tonight, knowing that your savings are in your own custody.
Listen to the wind in the junipers and the tales of the shifting, whispering sands. Wild horses on the run into the setting sun and the smell of the leather in his hand.